Hello and welcome, everyone. It's Women's Speakers Association's WSATV show. I'm Laura Rubinstein, your host and producer. I'm also the digital media marketing strategist, founder of Transform Today and Social Buzz Club, and author of the best-selling book, Social Media Myths Busted, The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. Today, we have an amazing show with an amazing expert. And we're going to be talking, as you can see on the screen here, all about creating a return on investment from your vision. Your vision is valuable, and I can't wait to have Jan talk to us about it. But let's just go say hi. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and say hi to Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So I am Jan Spence. I am the founder and principal of Jan Spence and Associates right here in sunny Florida. I am also the creator of Dare to Be Different, a new perspective on goal setting, and you can find me at janspence.com.
Awesome. And we are live here on Facebook at Women's Speakers Association's Facebook page. If you have some comments, you want to ask some questions, you want to just like and give us some love, we welcome that for you. And let's just jump right in right now and talk about this idea, Jan, about creating an ROI from your goals and your vision. And what advice do you have for people who want to take the next step with their vision? Where should they go?
Well, I think the first thing we have to realize, Laura, is that only 4% of our population actually reaches their goals each year. 4%. And that's so sad because we have so much more potential to be able to hit those numbers at a greater level. So really the biggest advice that I would have for people is that we have to start at the very beginning. So the first thing that we have to do is really identify our core values. Now, most people know what their core values are, but they just don't take the time to actually write them down, identify it down to 5 core values. So sometimes when I'm working with individuals or organizations, they're all over the place. They say, I've got the core value of health, and it's family and quality time and community and service, and they're all over the place. And so it's once we begin to identify what are those primary 5 key core values that we want to honor and give the most time, attention, and energy and resources to, that's where we have to start. Otherwise, we're really setting ourselves up for failure. Sometimes we're even setting a goal and a vision that we don't even own, that doesn't even belong to us. So that's really the first step.
Wow, say more about that. Sometimes we're setting up for a goal or a vision we're not even, where would it come from?
Well, sometimes people think, oh, I should. And so they believe, I should be more organized. And so this year I'm going to get my financial house in order. I'm going to get out of debt in 12 months and pay my mortgage off. And I'm going to all of a sudden be super efficient. I will never be late for an appointment. I'll never miss paying a bill. But yet that's not truly who they are. So I think we have to be realistic, both as an individual, but also organizations and companies have to realize who they truly are. What is their DNA? And we start from there. And so don't try to borrow someone else's goal. Let's start with who we are and begin to make those baby steps to move forward in that direction by, again, tying it to who we are really as an individual and what's most important to us. Laura, are you muted?
Thank you. So
Okay.
Sometimes when we think about our goals and visions, we don't know if they're ours or others. So what I'm hearing from you is that we need to take a look at what is really our goals, our visions, our values, start there, and then what do we do? What kind of a method do you recommend?
Great question. So the first thing that we need to do after we've identified those core values, we know who we are, we know what is most important to us, and we're going to focus on those. Then the next thing that we do, ironically, is I tell people to go back and look at what worked in the past. So sometimes we want to borrow the new project management plan for the new year, or we're going to implement a new training program. So, or just there's so many different fads. And what we end up doing is we end up chasing that sparkly, shiny stuff without stopping and saying, you know what, this is what worked for us in the past. Let's focus on our strength. Let's focus on what worked for us and begin to repeat that. Now, of course, it may take different iterations. It may look a little bit different from what we did in the past, but we're repeating what we know. We're focusing on our strength. So I think that's really the first step. The second thing that I recommend, which is something that is very, very different, and I call it the target ABC approach. So a target ABC goal is just like it sounds. If you can imagine a bullseye target, and right in the very, very center of that bullseye is the ultimate goal. So I'll use one of the most common New Year's resolutions, which is to lose weight. So maybe in the center of that bullseye, it is lose 30 pounds. But just outside of that bullseye, we have a second best goal, which might be exercising at the gym 3 times a week. So that may be a next step. And then on the outer side of that, we may have just take the stairs at work and park a little bit further away. So we have kind of a baby step goal, we have a next bigger goal, and we have that ultimate goal in the center. What we understand is that modern neuroscience tells us that the brain cannot distinguish the word or. So if we take the steps at work, or we exercise 3 times a week, or we lose that 30 pounds, our brain sees each one of those as equally successful. And so that begins to tell our brain we are successful at reaching our vision, at getting a return on this small investment, that it makes a difference, and that gives us that momentum to keep going so that we can ultimately reach that center target goal. But so often, what we put on our goal list, lose 30 pounds, and then we're frustrated 2 weeks later when we haven't lost the 30 pounds. So we have to start with baby steps.
I love that. It's like you're preventing self-sabotage with that process and getting people to their goals. So tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what impact you're making with them. What do you do with them?
Well, I work with individuals and companies, and here's a newsflash. Companies are made up of individuals. So we start there. And so many organizations, I work with a lot of franchisors, and the franchisors, while people come for a system that is duplicatable and has a process that's already proven, they also realize that they are getting different types of individuals. And not only with franchisors, but with companies, even nonprofit organizations, they are getting people that bring themselves to work every day. So they're bringing their own core values, they're bringing their own wishes and vision and dream to that workplace each day. So I really work with them to integrate the two, so that they can begin to help their people identify what their strength is, what their core values, what their purpose and their own vision is. If we can draw that out of those individuals, they're going to be more engaged at work. They are going to feel connected to the vision of the company. They're going to feel like the company cares about them as an individual. And then the whole company flourishes, because now you've got tens to hundreds to thousands of employees that are coming each day bringing their very best. So that's not an easy process, but we have to dig deep with the individuals first and then help them bring their best and help the company figure out, how does this play within our culture and within our organization, so that we can take the best of everyone that we've got, take all of this talent, and ultimately increase the profitability and the ROI for our company and their vision.
Fabulous. That's such powerful work, and it's a new paradigm, in a sense, when you're really taking into consideration the individual in the company. So tell us about your experience. How did you come to this work?
Well, I think I am my own guinea pig. So for me, it started off as just some dreams as a child and as a young adult to own my own business. So my husband and I have the core value of good stewardship. And by that, I mean, we just want to be just a good manager of everything that has been entrusted to us, from our home, our talents, our careers, our financial resources. So that's very, very important to us, is to know that we manage that well. And so out of those core values, we set the goal to become debt-free. So we thought, in order to be able to give generously, to be a smart financial user of our money, then we need to get out of debt. So the tool that we used, the goal that we had, was to buy a business, to sell it for profit, and that's what we did in 4 years. We set a 5-year goal and we actually accomplished it in 4 years. And we had a 300% return on our investment. So we were able to pay off all our debt and able to give generously now. So I think we've been our own example of what I teach, just to know that it works, and that when you know where you're headed, when it's Friday afternoon and you're not feeling like selling, or it's the weekend and you'd rather take time off, but you know you've got a project to take care of, when you go back to that driving magnetic force that drives the very being of who you are, it's not easy, but it makes it a lot more meaningful to push through and to be able to accomplish that goal once you've got that core value and that driving force behind you.
So interesting, your story about buying a business. Did you buy a business that was in alignment with your core values as well?
We looked for many, many years for just the right thing, and I don't know if you'd call it a glutton for punishment or a pioneer. I'm not sure which one, but we actually bought the second franchise of a brand new franchise concept that had come here from England. And so we made sure that one person was successful at it, and when we saw that it was the real deal, we jumped in, both of us with both feet, and decided that we were going to make it work. So for us, it very much aligned with being a good steward of our resources. It was an environmentally friendly company, so that was very important to us. We had high contact with people who I would say could use a lot of love, so it was an environment where we had the chance to influence other people. So we saw it so much more greater than just the activity that we were doing on a day-to-day basis. We felt like impacting lives, and we were able to see that and have people that we worked for that were our customers, that were just frontline staff, come back and tell us what a difference it made and how much we brightened their day and that we made an impact on their life. And so that's part of our core values. So it wasn't about the what, it was more about the why.
I love it. So being in alignment makes a difference with ROI is kind of the theme today, creating that ROI from your vision, from your values, really. And your vision comes probably most likely from your values. And if it's not, then it's probably not your vision, is my guess. And that's what I'm learning from you today. Such a chock full of juicy information here. And is there any other story you want to share about how you help somebody? Now that you've had the experience, you have the methodology, how did you actually help someone do this?
Well, I'm working with individual companies and with individuals. So many times they will come to me with their kind of high-level goal. So they know we want to grow the business or we want better communication amongst our staff. So they have an idea of the outcome, but they're just not sure how they're going to get there. So typically we have to take a step back, many steps back, and find out who we're working with. Who are the people that they are actually dealing with? So I think sometimes the owners of companies will say, Jan, just come in and do a good communication seminar, and we'll give you an hour and fix our people, make sure everyone's, has great teamwork and take care of them. And of course, as we begin to have that conversation, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And they forget that that's an individual who's got challenges and issues, or maybe they were hired into a position that just isn't a fit and is not in alignment with who they are. So sometimes it's about moving people into the right position so that they can utilize their best and their strength and flourish and thrive. And so with some of the companies that I've worked with, it's a joy to see people, when they're flexible and when they're open to it, we're able to move people around, or we empower those employees to do their best to actually align their own core values with what they're doing each day. And it really begins to change the company culture. So they still have that ultimate goal and they'll get there, but they're able to get there faster because they are having the entire team support that overall. So the return is very quick, a lot quicker than if they just came in and tried to wave a magic wand and fix people and go against the grain of who the company really is.
I love that everybody gets something out of it, and everybody wins. It's a great paradigm. Thank you so much for your wisdom. It's invaluable. And I just wanted to ask you about Women Speakers Association and your involvement here. What do you love about it, or why did you join it?
Laura, one of the reasons that I joined the Women Speakers Association was just to have a special group that focused on highlighting the wonderful talent, the wisdom, the intelligence, the experience, the years in the field that just, number one, bringing that together and highlighting that for the world to have as one resource to be able to go to this organization and to find just the right individuals for their purposes, for individually or as an organization, but also for me to learn from. So I've enjoyed being able to connect with other women who have other areas of expertise and learn from them.
And that's what we do. We do those two things really well. We do some more things of celebrating women and their messages that really can impact and change the world and inspire that global transformation. And we also bring the tools and training to you to up-level your own game. So that being said, if you've got a message or you've been inspired by Jan, or would like to learn more about Women Speakers Association, join us at joinwsa.com. We have a free level of membership for you. You can do what Jan and I have done. It's upgrade to the premier level and get more visibility and training for you there. There's so much here. In fact, if you want to try one of our newest offers for free, go to speakersuccessplan.com and you can download a whole blueprint for getting your speaker success. So we will see you next time on Women Speakers Association's WSATV, and we'll be back with another great expert like Jan today. Have a great one. Thank you again, Jan.
Thank you so much, Laura. Appreciate you having me. Thank you, everyone who's joined us today out there. We just really appreciate you coming to Women Speakers Association and viewing us at WSATV.